Dual Forms Extensions with Polygel and Lavender collection by Yayoge coming up. Hello guys, Anastasia here. Today we're going to review a collection by Yayoge Lavender collection. I already tried their nude collection and I liked it a lot, so I hope this one will be good as well. All bottles are 10 milliliters. Unfortunately, you cannot see the color right away, so you need to look at the cap for the number. So this collection includes all kind of purple, lavender and one magenta colors. Now you can see the consistency, and I have to say I'm quite impressed by the coverage of these colors. I applied only one coat. I did not apply the second one, I just cured it and sealed with the top coat. So that's pretty good for such an affordable price. Let's take a look at the entire collection. Starting from number 1, you can see the numbers in the upper right corner. So they go from light lilac color all the way to the dark purple, and the last one, number 6, is a rich eggplant color. This is how they look all together, so I immediately wanted to try them on the nails from the light to the darkest one. I also have a polygel kit which includes transparent pink polygel, nail liquid, a set of dual forms. We will also need sun mini lamp to cure it, base coat and top coat, and even a brush, which turned out pretty good by the way, because I was a bit skeptical about its size. Let's get started. First of all, we need to measure the size of the dual form. If it perfectly fits, then it's good, but sometimes it will not match the shape of the cuticle, which is very common, and it's super easy to fix that. You just need to use a sharp scissors and adjust the shape of the cuticle. By the way, most people have rounded cuticles, so do not worry, you can use it again. And in every kit there are 10 pieces of each size of the dual form, so they are all reusable. Next step, taking off the surface shine. But since my client already have a bit damaged and overfiled nails, I am doing this step very slightly because I do not want to overfile them even more. So I do it with 180 grit file with a super light touch. We already did a cuticle care on her 2 days before this, so we do not have to prep the cuticles again since it is already prepped. Then I'm going to apply dehydrator on the entire surface and non-acid primer for a better adhesion. Make sure you are not touching the client's skin. And then we're going to apply a base coat. I'm using the one from the kit, but you can also use the one from the gel polish kit. They both work pretty good for polygel system. Apply base coat as thin as possible and do not go too close to the sidewalls as well as to the cuticle. Always leave a tiny margin right there. Cure in LED for 30 seconds and let's do the application. Transparent pink is like a bright pink color, but it is also transparent. And I have to say guys that this is definitely the best color for practicing, especially if you're just getting started. And now you will see why. Once it's thin, like it is now near the cuticle area, it's almost clear. In the areas where it is thicker, it is rich pink color. What I'm saying is that it is super easy to tell the thickness of this color because this is just how it works. Because once you work with a clear polygel, you can never tell that because it's just all clear. With a nude color, the same thing, you just cannot see the difference. So if you are struggling with the thickness of the apex or if you have doubts, this is definitely the best color to practice. And since it's transparent, you will not have any issues for curing. Now cure in LED and pinch, and unfortunately I forgot to record the most fun part of this application, the moment when I take the dual form off, but do not worry, we have more nails to work on, so we will definitely see it again. Now let's do the prep again. I really cannot explain why I did that on the thumb first and then I'm doing it on this nail. Normally you need to do it on all nails at once because it's just more convenient. Once you apply dehydrator on all 10, then it is primer, and then it is base coat. However, I recommend to apply it on the thumb and then cure, and while it is curing, apply it, let's say, on the opposite hand, because even though the coat of the base coat is super thin, it still can flood the side walls a little bit, especially if you're curing thumb and forenails together. So I strongly recommend curing them separately. Now let's do the application, and like I said, this color is so bright and so visible, so I can finally show you guys all the details of the application with the dual forms. Cuticle area as well as the sidewalls should be pretty thin, so this color might appear almost transparent in these areas, while the apex, the part in the middle, should be a bit thicker. Unfortunately, I noticed that I have a couple of bubbles there, so it is better to get rid of them right away. So I just took them off with the orange wood stick, and now I'm adding more product. To avoid product squeezing from the cuticle area, make sure that you do not have a lot of product right there, so it is better to apply it thin right away. Once you feel that the product is sticking to the brush, just use the slip solution. Obviously, I just used too much, so you just need to wait a little bit until it evaporates. Now set it on the nail and slightly press. You can see that the product is squeezing from the sides, so I will fix it quickly with the brush. It is so much better to fix it right now. Then turn the hand around, and with the brush I will also fix this area underneath. This is so convenient, it's so much faster and easier compared to filing it all off with the e-file later once it's cured. Then I will freeze cure it for about 15 to 20 seconds and slightly pinch the nail. This part is optional, you do not have to do this, but if you feel that you want the shape that looks more narrow, then just go for it. Just make sure you are not deforming the product, so you need to pinch it while the product is still soft, and then cure for remaining 1 minute. Now let's continue. By the way, bubbles in polygel when it comes in a tube like this are very common if you keep it opened. So once you squeeze the product into the dual form, make sure that you close it right away. I didn't follow my own advice here, and now you can see what happened. Now I have 2 bubbles, and it is so annoying getting rid of them once you applied it almost perfectly. So please do not repeat my mistakes. Once you squeeze it out, just close it right away and make sure that the air is not going inside. All nails are finished. This color is kind of cool, right? It's like a jelly pink or something. Now let's take off the sticky layer, and we have it only underneath because the sticky layer will appear only when we have a contact with the oxygen, and since the product was covered with the dual form on top, they are not sticky on top, only underneath. So make sure you do it thoroughly. Now let's shape the nails. Well, we don't really need to shape them, we already have a good shape. We mostly need to adjust the length, so sometimes some nails are much longer than the others. It's a bit tricky when you're using dual forms, but once you start using them more often, you will just get used to it. So make sure that these 3 nails, index, middle, and ring finger, are the same length. However, middle finger might be a bit longer. This is also acceptable, and I'm just measuring them to make sure they're all even. So originally we were thinking of doing the square shape, and since I pinched the nails, now they're more narrow, and this is something probably like a tapered square now. Since some nails were a bit too long compared to the others, the thickness underneath is a bit too much on some nails, and I'm going to fix that with the carbide bead. But like I said, If you did a good job with the brush underneath, you will eliminate time of filing it underneath like 10 times. And also it is quite hard to reach some areas underneath, so it is better to do it all with a brush. If some product squeezed out from the sidewalls or across the cuticle and you didn't notice it right away, you can also fix it with a carbide bead. I prefer a cone shape, but keep in mind that this might be also a bit sensitive for the clients with the sensitive cuticles. So once again, it is also better to fix it with the brush before you cure it. But this polygel is pretty soft and super easy to file, so even filing it off with the e-file will not be that hard. Or for this filing, you can also use a hand file. Nails are shaped and buffed, and I love this look of the clean, freshly shaped nails. And now let's apply the color. Since we have a transparent pink underneath, the colors may look a bit different, so we decided to apply 2 coats so they will cover it better. And just take a look at these colors. They're so bright and so intense. And then let's seal it with a top coat. In the kit you have a no wipe top coat that you just need to apply on top, cure it, and this is it. So now we have some kind of a color gradient from the light lilac to the dark purple. I'm definitely happy with the result as well as my client. Let me guys know what do you think. I will leave the link to this kit and the colors below as well as my discount code. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time here on my channel, consider subscribing, as I post new nail art tutorials and product reviews just like this one every week. See you in my next one. Goodbye!